Hey Geminis, welcome to your soul alignment reading, where we'll try and get you back in alignment if you've been feeling a little bit out of sorts and a little bit lost on your life's path. We're going to start first by seeing what energy is surrounding this reading for you. And the first oracle card that we have out for you is Magic Circle Protection. Let's pull another and see what other energies are surrounding this reading for my Gemini collective. What else is happening with my Gemini collective for their soul alignment? And we have Kali, endings and beginnings. The old must be released so that the new can enter. So what it's feeling like off the break is that there's a need for release, but there's also a need, I think, for you in moving forward to make sure that you don't repeat mistakes of the past. So there's an element of self-preservation that's coming through right now for you, where it's like, okay, you've experienced whatever it is that you've experienced in the past. And now moving forward, you have to do so in a way that's smarter, that is more strategic, and making sure that you don't sort of encounter the same harm that you may have received before. So making sure that you protect yourself, making sure that you sort of take into account your past experiences while not letting them hold you back from your future path. So almost like wrapping a little protective bubble around yourself. It's that sort of same concept of, putting your hand over a hot stove. Like you do it once, you get burned. Maybe you do it twice and you get burned. And then by the time the third time comes around, it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do that again. Maybe you still need to sort of reach over the fire, but maybe you put on a protective glove or something like that. So it's really just making sure that you stay safe based on prior experiences. And again, that's not something that should keep you from moving forward, but it's definitely something that should allow you to move forward in a different way. One that is not going to create havoc or create chaos or put you in a situation that is not for your highest good. So let's jump into a little bit of tarot and see what other messages we can pull for you. So the best way right now for you to sort of get in alignment with your higher self, we have Archangel Raphael. And so Raphael is the sort of archangel of healing. That's his main purpose. So really thinking about travel also, life's journey. So this could be physical travel, this could be spiritual, emotional. I think that in the context of this reading for my Gemini crew, that this is really something that has to do with your elevation in life. It has to do with your progression forward. But Raphael is really the one who you call on when you need sort of a safe passage. So again, you have protection cards coming out immediately in your reading. So really making sure that you wrap yourself in that little safety bubble and, don't get caught up in things that you've experienced before, not taking that same path based on not learning your lessons from past experiences. We have that clarified by the King of Roses, which is the King of Cups in traditional tarot. So kings are typically very, very strong, very powerful energy. And I don't necessarily think that this card is one of you sort of giving unlimited, abundant amounts of love to everyone else. It more feels as though with this King of Roses card that there is a need for you to pour that love back into yourself, where you might have been in situations where you've given a lot to other people and it ended up in not a lot of reciprocity, that same energy was not returned to you, and it left you in a place that wasn't so good. And so I feel like with these cards, there's a need for you to protect yourself. And the best way to protect yourself, especially when it comes to your relationships and how you deal with other people in your life, is going to be by making sure that you love yourself first. And that means loving yourself, thinking highly enough of yourself that you're not going to let anybody put you down. You're not going to let anybody mistreat you. You're not going to let anybody give you less than what it is you truly deserve in life. So thinking of self first is going to be the best way for you to get into alignment with your soul. Now, we're not going to take all of those cards. So what your spirit wants next for you on this path that you're embarking on, what does Gemini's spirit want for them? What do they have deep down in their soul? And the card that we have out for you is Fated Meeting. So this is an interesting card because it feels as though with this freeing of yourself, with leaving this negative energy in the past and protecting yourself going forward, it's going to bring in a situation where you are sort of destined to meet someone who is also in alignment with the new path that you're on. So I think that spirit says, okay, come on, let's do this healing. Let's be smart. Let's protect ourselves because there's someone waiting for you. So if you are looking for, and I think for a lot of my Geminis out there, this has to do with a more romantic relationship than anything else. It feels as though once you clear out this past energy, and you get back to your sense of self and you love yourself above any and every other thing that you have in your life, that's going to be the energy that draws someone into you. And it feels rather unexpected. We have the Queen of Keys to clarify. This is a Queen of Pentacles in traditional tarot. So I think that what your spirit wants for you, what you want deep down in your soul, is this sense of stability. Someone who comes in with something very tangible, something that you can see, you can feel, you can touch, you can taste, all of that good stuff. And with this fated meeting, I do think that with your new mindset and with your new approach to life, that's what's going to come in for you. So, think about that as you move forward. Think about some of the lessons that you have learned from your past relationships that may not have worked out exactly the way that you wanted them to, the way that you hoped that they would, and understand that putting out this different vibe is going to bring in a different vibe to you as well. And more than anything, you'll actually have the discernment that you need to figure out very quickly whether or not people should be in your life or whether or not you should just go ahead and bypass them because you know that they're not going to sort of be for your highest good. Now, as far as the changes that you need to make to ensure that you are able to take this next step, we have the Queen of Forces and we also have the Ark of the Covenant. So I love this combination for you, Gemini, because with the Ark of the Covenant, that's a promise that's being made to someone. And I think for the purposes of your reading, that this is a promise that you make to yourself to not repeat those prior mistakes, to make sure that you always put the focus on yourself, to make sure that before you give your energy, your time, your attention, your love, your material goods to anyone else, that you make sure that you are taken care of in all of those areas first. And with the Queen of Forces, this is the Queen of Wands in traditional tarot. The Queen of Wands is a very fiery, feisty, passionate energy. And so I think that the primary change that my Geminis need to make in their journey going forward is making sure that you are fiercely protective of yourself. Where in the past you may have found yourself in situations where you kind of bow down to other people. I think that's probably a bit of an aggressive way of saying it, but you let their needs and their wants overtake yours, and you let them sort of dictate how you move through your own life. And so with these cards, the biggest change I think that you have to make is really making sure that you are protective. It's almost like, a mother wolf protecting their cubs. Like they will go to the ends of the earth. They will do battle for those little baby cubs. And that's the approach that you need to take for yourself, for your peace, for your money, for your emotions, for your mental stability. So make sure that you take care of yourself first, Gemini. Now, how can you listen to what it is that your soul wants in the future? because I think that for a lot of us, we tend to ignore what our intuition, what our higher self is telling us, whether it's for the sake of keeping peace or whether we're holding out hope that things will change when there's not really much evidence that it will. We're starting out with Hilarion. And so with Hilarion, you have this sort of wise old person who's reading from a book, and we have two shadowy figures, or actually three shadowy figures, that are sort of standing around him. One is like literally right behind him, right over his shoulder. And so this can be interpreted a few different ways, right? This could be your ancestors. These could be your angels, your spirit guides. But more than anything, this is your higher self. They're listening, they're watching. And particularly with this one who's standing behind this man who's reading this book, she is right there over his shoulder. So what you might think about doing in terms of listening is to really tune in. Do not ignore what's being said to you. Those little nudges that you get, those little tingles that this isn't right or this is right. It's in your best interest to follow that. Don't dismiss the experiences that you've had in the past. Don't dismiss the messages that your spirit team is trying to give you. It's super important for you guys to tune into that so that you're able to sort of take those next steps in a smart and protected way. Now let's see if we can clarify, again, for my Geminis, how you can listen to your soul as you progress on this journey. Look at that. We have the 7 of Roses, the journey. So again, your progression is imminent. This is something that was meant for you. We have the 7 of Roses, which is the 7 of Cups in traditional tarot. So really taking time to explore your options, to be thoughtful about those people and experiences that come your way, and making sure that you take into account those lessons that you've learned, and making sure that you rely on your higher self to make informed choices. Because with the 7 of Roses, everything that's sort of in these cups is not the same. There's some good things, there's some not so good things, but it's going to be up to you and using the discernment that you've gained through these life lessons to make the choice that's best for you. And make sure that you let your intuition guide you. So take time to explore life, right? But listen to yourself. Listen to your higher self along this journey so that you can figure out which path is right for you. Now let's pull another message from Spirit. What else does Spirit have for my Gemini collective? Ooh, that one launched. Okay. So what we have for you is energy flows where my intention goes. And so for my Geminis, where you may have been a little bit stuck in the past, right? Holding on to this energy that you may not have fully released just yet, or trying to figure out what the lesson is. Make sure that you don't sort of dwell on it. This is not something that you sit and stew in. This is something that you acknowledge, that you process, that you take from it what you can, and then you move on to the next step. But giving all of your energy to thinking about the past and what could have been and what should have been and why didn't this happen, it's not serving you. You're putting your energy in the wrong place. You're sort of keeping yourself stuck where you are, as opposed to putting your energy into healing, making sure that you're protected and moving forward. So, this is very much a conscious choice that you have to make. Are you going to take from your past experiences whatever you can and use that as a foundation to move forward and to know what to do, to know what not to do? Or are you going to dedicate your energy to just sort of constantly cycling through the memories of whatever it is that's happened to you in the past? Understand that if you go through this healing process, if you move forward in a smarter way where you're protecting yourself, then if you're looking for a romantic relationship, then there is someone who will come in who is much more aligned with your new energetic pattern, where you might miss them if you are sort of stuck in the past. So it looks like good things are coming towards you, Gemini, if you allow it, if you are open to it, and if you use the discernment that you've gained from the lessons you've learned. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.